Last week I bought this rusty old 90s mountain bike for €15 and I completely restored it to a smooth riding motor flipper. It's an excellent mountain bike, but when my mom asked me to get 6 kilos of flour from the local mill, kan ze mee wat meel halen van de meulen in de Miertrek? I realized that I won't be able to carry that much flour onto this bike. So that means I'll have to turn this aggressive and agile mountain bike into a comfy all-terrain flour carrier. It's gonna take blood, sweat and tears to get this to work, but I believe I can turn this bike into the one that brings home 6 kilos of flour. I'll start by adding a sturdy rack to the front of the bike, strong enough to carry 6 kilos of flour. I'll add a basket as well for convenience, and then I'll have to update the cockpit for more comfort on my lonesome flour quest. And to tie everything together, I'll add a lick of paint to it. Let's go. This is the rack that I bought off Marketplace for €5. Pretty cheap, it's relatively heavy and it has some redundant parts, which we'll now take off. Let's go. Boop. Once the redundant parts are removed, I'm left with this usable rack. These rods, they are slightly twisted, which makes that I don't have enough space to screw the end back on. I decided that it would be easiest to twist the rods into the opposite direction in the hope that it will sort everything out. So here I'm attempting to bend the rods so that they are more parallel. But then I realized it's bending here at the top, whereas I was hoping it will bend at the lower end. And if I would have thought about it a bit longer before I started to bend, I probably would have realized it too. But I'm a big proponent of just trying things out, see what sticks. And that's sort of in line with my personal belief that experimenting is much better than theorizing. I think there's a reason why theorizing sounds a lot like terrorizing. Anyway, Kierkegaard said that life is only understood backwards in retrospect. So yeah, now I realize this was stupid, and I'll just detach the rods from the rack and try to bend them individually. The rods seem to have bent a little bit in my favor, but they got mangled in the process, so I'll just have to straighten them out with a hammer. Let's see how that fits. Okay, pretty well. Then it's time to bend the salvaged bracket to my will. At this moment there's a weird bend in it, so I'll just start by straightening the entire bracket to a flat piece and then I'll work from there. What follows is a laborious process of bending, banging and benchmarking. And then, we have this basic structure of the rack working. There's still one big challenge to overcome, because the DIY bracket is now blocking the brake cable, which renders it completely useless. But I'll try to come up with a solution for that later. First, I will disassemble the old cockpit. I'm starting off with the weird handlebar things that come with a lot of these old mountain bikes. Then, to remove the grips easily, I learned a good trick from the retired bike specialist that I visited for the previous video where I did the bike restoration. He showed me to blow some air underneath the grips with a compressor to loosen them up. It works wonders. With the grips removed, I can move on to the shifters and the brake levers. Once everything is set and done, I'm left with the brake cables and the shifters that I should be able to simply pop onto the new handlebar. And while I'm at it, I'll also take the bike stem and the saddle pan off, ready to get sanded and painted later. But first, it's time to go basket shopping. And what better place to do this than the infamous Winkel from Sinkel. I'm pretty sure that I'll be able to find some sort of basket that I'll be able to use in this second-hand shop. There's always the risk that I won't find anything as I walk into the shop, and there's the first basket already. Okay, I'm pretty sure this would work well, although I think I prefer a metal basket. Alright, they also have metal baskets here. This one is a bit small and it doesn't have a backside, but this one has potential. Although it might be a bit too tall. I'll just put it back and have a look at the wicker baskets. They seem fun, but I'm a bit worried that they won't last long on an outdoor adventure bike. Then finally, I did find this weird sort of circular plant basket that seems pretty cool to me. I thought it would look pretty fun on a bike, but I decided to store that idea in the back of my mind for a future project. Just returned from the Winkel from Sinkel. and I got myself a basket. So ready to attach it to the bike now. But before I attach it, I'll give it a good rinse and a nice paint job. I've returned with my bucket and my mop to clean all of these individual parts. After everything is cleaned, I sand it down. And then it's time to start layering the various sorts of paint. Let past year show you what he bought for that. This is the stuff I got. Primer, black metal, that sounds sick. And clear varnish. Yeah, okay. Then let's get cracking. Bird poop, just what I needed. I ended up buying a bit more spray paint, and while I was cycling to the shop, I thought, damn, my throat hurts a bit. And I realized I forgot to wear mouth protection. Stupid, royal stupid. The thing is, spray paint just smells so nice. It's a really lovely smell, so I don't really mind breathing it in. Yes, I do realize how stupid that sounds, but yeah, that's just how it goes. I also don't know if you noticed, but instead of buying black metal, I bought metallic paint. So now the basket will be black with little sparkly bits in it. Now all the bits look fresh and just like new. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. It would be a real shame if... Already dropped this one and it has some scratches on it. But oh well, everything gets scratched after a while anyway. The first scratch just hurts the most. But the silver lining with that is that I got the first scratches out of the way very early, which means all upcoming scratches won't hurt as much anymore. Hey, don't mock me. There is some solid logic in there. Yeah. What blieft me de mail? Ah, that's my mom asking me what's taking me so long to get her some flour. So, yes, let's quickly continue reassembling the bike so I can go on my mission to the mill. It looks like a smooth process, but as you might have realized by now, no process is smooth as long as I am involved. So let's rewind the footage a bit and yes, there it is. When installing a new front brake lever, I found out that the old cable was cut at the perfect length for the old handlebars. However, the new handlebars are significantly higher than the old ones. So when I tried to put the same short cable into the new levers, they turned out to be way too short. But that's not an issue, of course. I just needed to install new brake cable, new housing, cut everything to size, adjust the length of the cable, protect the tip, always protect the tip, guys. And then it's finally time to finish the front rack build. Like promised, there's still a few challenges to conquer here. In order to prevent this weird obstruction of the brake cable, I'll have to drill a hole in the metal here so it can pass through unobstructed. Then I'll drill some more holes here and here to attach some metal brackets. The brake cable is now guided through this hole so it can move freely. I also secured the basket with some metal brackets and black zip ties. Essentially what I did is bending some of these metal brackets so that they could be wrapped around here, and then I added some black zip ties to the front of the basket. It's super sturdy like this and all the black elements blend in quite well. Then, to wrap up this transformation from a 90s mountain bike into the ultimate all-terrain flower carrier, I had to add this orange Pole Engineering stamp cap. And with that, the bike is finally ready to join me on my noble quest to honor my mom's request for flour. Initial review. It's a very comfy ride. The wide handlebars feel very secure and the increased height helps me to sit up in a more relaxed, upright position. The basket seems sturdy, but the real test will be seeing how it behaves when it's filled with 6 kilos of flour. But oh hey, I can already spot the mill in the distance. Bada bing bada boom, let's see if they sell some of that good white powder in here. And after a bit of milling, I was able to acquire the required 6 kilos of flour for my mum. Now let's hope the basket will be able to hold it together for the final 10-kilometer stretch back home. Because I'm not sure if I told you about it, but my mom is gonna make some real nice pancakes for me as a reward. So let's go! Kijk maar.
Nou, fantastisch. Daar gaat hij.